Welcome to the Jedi Ranger. I'm JohnBerry555, and in today's video, I would like to talk about the realness of Star Wars and using the Ghorman Massacre as depicted in Star Wars Andor Season 2, the episode Who Are You, as my prime example. Star Wars Andor with the Ghorman Massacre depicted one of the most real events in Star Wars. And that is quite impressive. And it's real because of the dedication that Tony Gilroy, the writers, the actors, the set dressers put into that episode, and more importantly, what inspirations they drew on. Tony Gilroy has done a couple of interviews, and in them he has stated that he's drawn on real histories. Many people have watched Star Wars Andor and are talking about how relevant it is to ongoing current events in the United States. And they're not wrong, but that's also because these events that people are drawing these parallels to are founded in history. There's a saying that people say that history repeats itself. History does not repeat itself, but it certainly does rhyme. You go and see the same trends, but maybe not in quite the same way. And that's what makes the Ghorman Massacre and the rest of Star Wars Andor so real, is because it draws on real events that have happened in history and does so in a way that makes them feel real, because there are real events in history that sound totally implausible, but yet they really happen. When you're writing a story, you can't just have a implausible event, you have to build up to it. Things just can't happen because of a crazy thing. No, there have been real world events that just one mistake sets off a chain reaction. A mistake that if somebody was writing it, nobody would believe it. But if you can orchestrate a mistake in the story, it suddenly becomes more realistic. And the point why I'm bringing that up is that despite them having to do some dramatization to make it feel more real to us, because somehow reality sometimes doesn't always feel real to humans, they made something that feels real, feels present and timeless. You show the events of Star Wars Andor to someone, right after the French Revolution, they'll be like, man, this is very similar in some form or fashion. Not quite, but they would, once you explain the concept of sci-fi and television to them, they would be like, hey, yeah, I see the parallels there in that story. Or you show somebody from right after the Soviet Union was created, I'm sure they'll see parallels as well. That's because the history of revolutions, of resisting tyranny, they're all common trends. There's a reason why way back in Season 1 with Nemec's Manifesto, how Tony Gilroy and the writers had Nemec write that basically freedom, that tyranny is unnatural, that freedom is natural to that effect. And that's because humans, we want to be free. We want to make our own decisions. Now, sometimes people want to make the decisions for us, and that's when tyranny comes in. And that also creates conflict. There's a lot more going on there, but Star Wars Andor feels real because it draws on real-life human events and real-life human experiences and psychology. And the Ghorman Massacre is, and Star Wars Andor is, probably the best example of realness in Star Wars. But that's not the only example, because Tony Gilroy, the themes he expressed in Star Wars Andor did not come from a vacuum, or more accurately, did not come just from his look at real-world histories and humans. It also came from extrapolating from the themes that were present in the original trilogy, that George Lucas wrote in the original trilogy into the Clone Wars. Those things are drawn from George Lucas. That realness has always been in Star Wars, but Tony Gilroy and the rest of the creative team behind Star Wars Andor figured out how to say it in a way that we will understand, in a way that we haven't necessarily been able to understand or more accurately articulate before. But those are just my thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like and share. Also, consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date on all my latest content. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you, always.